Something subtle shifts when we reach our 60s. The crown of our hair, once light, bouncy, easy to lift, starts to settle, just a little flatter than before. And the jawline, that soft curve under the cheek, begins to blur. Not in a way that alarms us, but in a way we quietly notice. For many women over 60, this double shift, thinning hair at the crown and a softening jawline, makes even our most trusted haircut feel suddenly off. And here's what rarely gets said. Most haircuts weren't designed for where we are now. They were made for thickness we no longer have, and sharp angles we've gently outgrown. But here's the good news. With just a few thoughtful changes, a better shape, a subtle frame, a gentle lift, we can bring harmony back to the mirror. In this video, I'll walk you through 5 face-framing haircuts for thin hair after 60. Styles that lift the crown, soften the lower face, and let your beauty speak quietly, not loudly. These aren't makeovers. They're refinements designed with grace for women over 60 who still feel vibrant inside and want their hair to reflect that. If that sounds like you, go ahead and subscribe, not for drastic change, but for gentle transformation, the kind that makes all the difference. Let's begin, not with something new, but with something familiar, reimagined, the graduated bob. Let's begin with something familiar, a style many women over 60 have worn and loved for decades, the classic bob. Simple, clean, dependable. But here's the quiet truth. As our hair changes, especially at the crown and around the jaw, the classic version can start working against us. It often feels heavy near the chin and flat up top, especially if your hair has become finer, softer, or just less cooperative. But there's a gentle shift that changes everything. The graduated bob, shaped with what stylists call inverted graduation. That means the back is slightly shorter at the nape, and the length moves forward gradually, almost like it's lifting itself. This does 2 important things. It takes weight off the jawline, which softens and slims the lower face. It gives natural volume at the crown, without mousse, teasing, or effort. It's quiet, subtle, but deeply flattering. And here's one little styling tip I've seen work wonders. After towel drying, place just 1 Velcro roller right at the crown. That's it. Let it sit while you make tea or put on a little lipstick. No heat, no hassle. When you take it out, you'll have soft, natural lift that holds all day. One woman told me, "It's like my hair remembered how to float again." So if your bob feels like it's starting to drag you down, this version gently lifts you back up. But maybe you're craving even more movement, something with freedom, softness, and just a bit of flow. That's where the next cut comes in, and it might just be the breath your hair's been waiting for. The long layered shag. It's light, forgiving, effortless, and most of all, it moves. Your stylist will add carefully placed layers, especially around the crown, not to create volume that screams, but to release the weight that drags everything down. And the result? Lift where you need it most. Softness where you want it most. A face-framing shape that feels like it was made just for you. Those longer front pieces gently graze the cheeks, creating natural definition along the jaw. You can let it wave, air dry it, part it to the side. This isn't a cut that demands styling. It's a cut that gives you freedom. One woman wrote to me and said, "I didn't even realize how heavy my old haircut felt until I let this one move." So if you've been craving lightness, not just in your hair, but in how you feel, this might be your answer. And if you're curious what just a touch of asymmetry can do, the next cut will quietly reshape how you see yourself and how others see you too. Sometimes it's not about cutting more, it's about cutting smarter. The asymmetrical lob doesn't shout for attention. It doesn't try to look trendy. It just redirects the eye. And for women over 60, especially those with a soft jawline and thinner crown, that shift in direction can make all the difference. Here's something many don't realize. Perfect symmetry can actually work against us as we age. Balanced sides draw the eye downward, right to the areas where time has softened our features. But the asymmetrical lob, it gently tilts everything upward. One side remains slightly longer. The other lifts just enough to guide the eye away from gravity and toward grace. It's subtle, but it changes everything. Your silhouette feels lighter. Your crown looks fuller, especially when your stylist adds a gentle boost on the shorter side. And your face? It's quietly redefined. No sharp angles, no harsh layers. Just a natural, flowing shape with just enough edge to feel fresh. It works beautifully on straight or softly wavy hair. And it's the perfect choice for women who say, I want something different, but I don't want to feel like I'm trying too hard. One of my clients, a retired teacher, tried this cut for the first time. She told me later, it didn't make me look younger. It made me feel more awake. And truly, that's the magic. Now, if you've ever wondered whether short hair can still feel soft, feminine, and full of life, the next cut will surprise you in the best way. There comes a moment for some of us when we're ready to let go, not just of length, but of weight, of fuss, of the pressure to keep a look that no longer feels like us. That's when the textured Pixie with long bangs becomes more than just a haircut. It becomes permission. Permission to feel lighter, to show more face, not to hide it, to stop managing your hair and start enjoying it. This style is sculpted, yes, but never severe. It's layered just enough to give that natural lift at the crown, especially helpful for women over 60 with fine or thinning hair. The crown is softly textured, no heavy stacking, no sharp corners. And the long bangs, they're magic. They sweep across the eyes, soften the cheekbones, and frame the face beautifully, adding shape and movement where the jawline may have softened. But here's what makes this cut truly special. It brings energy. It opens up your expression. It frees the neckline. And it often feels like a reset, in the best way. One woman, 68, former nurse, told me this after trying it. I didn't recognize myself, not because I looked younger, but because I looked more alive. And the best part? It's low maintenance. No rollers, no round brushes, but never boring. So if you've been holding on to length because you're afraid short hair will feel harsh, this cut will change your mind, gently. And coming up next, a bob that looks modest, but secretly lifts the crown like nothing else. At first glance, this might look like an ordinary bob, but for women over 60 with thin hair at the crown, this cut quietly rewrites the rules. It's called the crown lift bob, and it was designed for one thing: bringing back that effortless lift we thought we'd lost. You know the feeling. You blow dry, you brush, maybe even flip your head upside down, and yet the top still falls flat. This cut changes that, not by stacking, not by layering everything, but by using one clever trick: hidden lift layers. Placed beneath the crown, not on the surface. So from the outside, the shape stays clean, elegant, uncomplicated. But underneath, there's space. Space for movement, for breath, for subtle volume that doesn't collapse. And here's what makes it so wearable. The back is gently curved inward, hugging the neck softly, without going full stacked bob. The whole silhouette looks lifted, refreshed, but not like it's trying too hard. One woman in her 70s told me, I thought my hair was just done. This cut gave it and me a second wind. And the best part? You don't need heat to style it, just a mist at the roots, one Velcro roller at the crown while you sip your tea, And when you take it out, the lift is already there. It's the kind of volume that feels earned, quiet, soft, but impossible to ignore. Now, once you've found your cut, the question becomes, how do you help it stay that way? Naturally, effortlessly, every single day. Let's talk about it. If you have thin hair at the crown, especially as a woman over 60, it doesn't take much to either flatten it completely or weigh it down trying to fix it. That's why I always come back to this. Simple, gentle, consistent. Let's start with product. You only need one, a lightweight, alcohol-free root lifting spray made for fine or aging hair. No mousse, no crunch. Just a soft boost that stays flexible and natural. Here's the routine I recommend. It takes 5 minutes, and it works. After towel drying your hair, flip your head gently forward. Just give it a little shake. Part your hair slightly off-center, not straight down the middle. Place one Velcro roller at the crown, just one. Then, go make your tea. Put on a little lipstick. Maybe read a page or two. When you come back, remove the roller, and you'll have a soft, natural lift with zero damage. One client told me, it's like a quiet secret, just me and my one roller. A few gentle reminders. Avoid applying heavy serums near the roots. They silently flatten everything. And try to change your part now and then, even just slightly, to keep the crown from going limp. Because in the end, this isn't about chasing volume. It's about choosing lightness, choosing ease, and giving your cut the best chance to shine naturally. Let's quickly recap the 5 cuts we explored today. Graduated bob lifts the crown, lightens the jaw. Long layered shag adds flow, softens the face. Asymmetrical lob reshapes and redirects. Textured pixie frees the neckline, adds energy. Crown lift bob, hidden volume, elegant structure. If even one of these face-framing haircuts for thin hair after 60 made you think, that might actually work for me, now, then I truly hope you'll hit that subscribe button. Not because I'm asking, but because this space was made for you. For women over 60 who aren't chasing youth, but are choosing softness, lightness, style that fits where we are now. I'd love for you to leave a comment below. What's changed most about your hair over the years? Was it the thinner crown? The softer jawline? Or maybe just that feeling of not knowing what suits you anymore? You're not alone in any of it. And your story, your journey, might be exactly what another woman needs to read today. And if you've tried one of these cuts already, or plan to soon, share it with us. Even better, send a before and after. I read every word.